Have you ever wondered about the bones of a story? What did the outline look like before the characters hijacked it? Ophelia Key always wondered the same things about her own stories. As a discovery writer, the chaotic pantser style, not even the author knew how the tales in the Draoithe Saga would go until they went. Backward analyzing one story while busy writing the next tale or two somehow never happened. Apparently, OK put things off long enough, and some fancy computer magic will provide us with those long-wished-for story overviews. We can finally X-ray the tales from the dream and see their skeletons. Shall we investigate the next story in the dream?
All right, let's dive right into this week's source material, Ophelia Key's dark urban fantasy, Haunted Echoes. We're going to break down the setup of this really intense story by exploring the two broken souls at its heart, and, the collision that just kicks everything into high gear. So this line right here, it defines everything. It's not just some poetic phrase. It's a straight-up warning and a survival guide that you'll see echo through the entire narrative. At its heart, this story is all about the weight of memory, the pain of trauma, and the desperate, desperate fight to just stay in the present. So let's start with our first protagonist. We have a woman whose entire existence is defined by a curse, one that has her literally running for her life. So, we meet Danika Klein, and her story starts right at a breaking point. Now, she's a research journalist, not some action hero field reporter, but she gets pushed into investigating a lead on this guy, Peter Elliott. He's a pharmaceutical billionaire who's been conducting these absolutely horrific, illegal experiments on people with magical abilities. Well, she gets a little too close to the truth, and bam, she gets captured. Now, the nature of her curse is just fascinating. This infinite path is a kind of magic that mortal women just aren't supposed to have. And get this, Danika's been told that using it 3 times will literally shatter her soul and kill her. So of course, this is the very power that Elliot wants to exploit. But for her, it's a ticking clock, a death sentence that she is now forced to use just to escape. So Danika uses the path to flee into a freezing forest. It's a total desperation move that leads her straight toward our second protagonist. And he's a being who is every bit as haunted as she is hunted, setting the stage for what is just a perfect, tragic collision. Okay, so let's flip the script and look at this from the other side. Because, who finds Danika is just as important as who's chasing her. The man who discovers her is Rorik Skogvatter. He's a draugr, which is essentially an outcast immortal, a forest spirit, a ghost, and he lives in complete, total solitude in a sanctuary he's carved out for himself, hidden deep within a forest preserve. He wants absolutely nothing to do with the outside world. And this timeline here, it really shows you why he's so broken. I mean, look at this. Way back in 1349, a human started a fire that destroyed everything he was sworn to protect. And what happens? He gets blamed, stripped of his status, and exiled. For centuries, he was a tormented ghost until he finally found a way to manage his trauma and eventually earn a new purpose as a guardian. But that past has never, ever truly left him. This mantra is basically the architecture of his sanity. After centuries of being haunted by failure and loss, this is how he functions. He literally forces himself to exist only in the present moment because looking back is just too painful. And this is going to become incredibly important for both of them. So we have the hunted and we have the haunted. Now we get to the moment where their isolated, painful worlds just smash right into one another. Picture this. Danika is running blind, following this deadly magical path through a brutal ice storm. She's exhausted, half frozen, on the brink of death, when she literally collapses against the door to Rorik's hidden home. And he is completely stunned. A human shouldn't have been able to find his sanctuary, let alone pass through his powerful magical wards completely undetected. And this presents Rorik with an impossible choice. On one hand, he despises humans. They are the reason for his greatest trauma, the loss of his home and his exile. But on the other hand, his fundamental nature is that of a guardian, a protector. His very magic is practically screaming at him to heal this broken, dying woman on his doorstep, while her desperate need ultimately wins out over his deep-seated hatred. And this one decision kicks off a period of incredibly fragile healing and the formation of a very unlikely, very intimate bond. And he doesn't just patch her up, he heals her on every single level. First, you've got his spirit magic, which mends her bones in frostbite. Then, his knowledge of herbal medicine is what he uses to fight her severe pneumonia. And most importantly, he shares his mantra with her, teaching her the only tool he has to fight the demons of the past. Yeah, this quote just perfectly captures the dynamic that develops between them. This isn't a simple romance. It's built on a profound recognition of shared trauma, a mutual need, and a simmering attraction. They are two shattered souls who found a temporary, fragile peace in each other's company, both completely wary of what comes next. But of course, this quiet little sanctuary they've built, it can't last forever. The outside world is about to come crashing in, and that leads to the big, inevitable conflict. So as Danika slowly starts to regain her strength, the very threat that sent her running into Rorik's arms in the first place, well, it finally tracks her down. Their fragile peace is about to be completely shattered. Rorik senses it first, a disturbance in his woods. His wards have been breached. Two men are out there hunting for their escaped captive. And instantly, the gentle, quiet caretaker we've gotten to know, he vanishes, and the ancient, fearsome warrior he was forced to become takes over. And here is the trigger. The intruder's plan is to set a fire to flush Danika out. For Rorik, this is the ultimate horror. It's a direct echo of that fire in 1349 that destroyed his life and led to his banishment. The past he has fought so hard to keep at bay is now literally threatening to burn down his present. So, Rorik deals with the intruders swiftly and brutally. But after they're dead, he feels the release of their magic. And here is the huge twist. They weren't human. They were immortal beings. This changes everything. Danika isn't just being hunted by some mortal tycoon. She's being pursued by powerful immortals from Rorik's own world. And that brings us to the core question of this entire story. Rorik is a man who has spent centuries trying to escape his past, content to live a solitary, meaningless existence. But now, in protecting this one woman, he's found a glimmer of a future he never, ever dared to imagine. So the real question is, what will he risk to keep it? The answer to that is where the real story of Haunted Echoes begins.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed this view of a story skeleton, glimpsing the characters, setting, and plot structure along with the twists within the writing in this tale from the Draoithe Saga by Ophelia Key. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more original stories and audio adventures. A special thank you to OK Music Writers for writing and for sharing the Enter the Dream soundtrack. It's more than a story, it's an experience. Welcome to the dream.